He murdered his doctor for killing his sex drive. Take a walk with me. The neighbors of Stanwood Fred Elkis would describe him as a pretty nice guy. 75 years old. Usually 75-year-old guys, they're nice guys. Now, unfortunately, as you get up in age, you're going to start developing certain health problems, and you want to lead a life of health just to kind of avoid that issue later on in your life, but unfortunately sometimes we can't. And one thing that the neighbors of Stanwood would say they wouldn't really care to know about him are his health problems, in particular his prostate. According to his neighbors, he would often complain of his health problems, of his problems pertaining to his prostate. And his relatives, well, since they're closer, their family, they're going to tell you that he would let them know the inside secrets of his health issues. So he tells his relative, must be a really close relative to tell him this, but he says, back in the late 1980s, Stanwood started having problems with his prostate, with going to the bathroom. He would have a very hard time using the bathroom. So in 1992, he goes to see a doctor here in Newport Beach. His name is Dr. Ronald Franklin Gilbert. He's a urologist. Dr. Gilbert would treat anything from bladder problems. If you need a vasectomy, give him a call. Prostate cancer, anything to do with that area of the body. So he goes to this doctor and he explains the issue. So after the health exam, Dr. Gilbert says, well, obviously, the reason why you're having issues going to the bathroom is because you have a very narrow urethra. And so Dr. Gilbert recommends for him to do a procedure to widen his urethra to alleviate his incontinence problem. So he goes for the surgery, and things didn't go very good. As a matter of fact, you can say that the surgery, according to Stanwood, was botched. He had told one of his relatives that he, quote unquote, nicked my prostate. So it went from bad to worse. Now this guy not only is having even more of a difficult time using the bathroom, now he has to use a catheter. According to one of his relatives, Stanwood tells them that he has to go to the bathroom like 7 or 8 times a night using a catheter every single time. And now he's living like this for the next 21 years. So we go to January 28, 2013. Now, Stanwood wakes up. This time now he's 75 years old. And this issue has been eating him up for the last 21 years. So he decides that he's going to take his frustration, his revenge out on Dr. Gilbert. So right before he comes down here to 540 Superior Avenue, he tells one of his neighbors, I'm not going to be alive very much longer. Now, he would always complain about his health problems to his neighbors and his friends and his family. So they're just like, yeah, whatever. So Stanwood gets into his vehicle and heads on down to these offices. Stanwood parks his vehicle in this parking lot right here, and he arrives at Dr. Gilbert's office, and he goes upstairs to office number 240 because he has an appointment. However, he made the appointment under an assumed name. He goes upstairs to office number 240 and he lets the secretary know that he's here for his 2:45 appointment. So they call his name, he goes into the exam room, and he waits a few minutes, and Dr. Gilbert comes in and introduces himself, and Stanwood would pull out a .45 caliber handgun and shoot the doctor in the chest 6 or 7 times. Right after he shoots him, he immediately yells, "I'm insane, call 911." And as other people in the complex are hearing gunshots, they're thinking it's like construction or something. He takes his handgun and gives it to one of the workers here in this building and calmly waits the 8 minutes for Newport Beach police to arrive, where they promptly place him under arrest. There was nothing they could do for the doctor. He was pronounced dead at the scene. Now, Stanwood was arrested and he was jailed in lieu of $1 million bail. He's being charged with first-degree murder along with the special circumstances of lying in wait. Now, during his preliminary arraignment, he tells the court, "I'm indigent. I can't afford an attorney." However, that's not true, because even though Stanwood is a retired barber, he's done quite well in life, well enough that he owns 8 homes. And their value at that time combined was estimated to be a little over $2 million. Now, later on, the family of Dr. Gilbert would sue for wrongful death the estate of Stanwood Elkis. He tried to transfer ownership of all of his real estate to his sister, but the court, they put a kibosh on that. So the family ultimately got all of those homes. So he's trying to plead insanity. He's trying to say, "I was crazy. This guy, he brutalized me. It's because of him that the surgery was botched and that I had to use a catheter for the rest of my life because of all of this." However, the issue with blaming Dr. Gilbert for the botched surgery is that Dr. Gilbert didn't do the surgery. He wasn't involved in the surgery. He gave him the diagnosis, but he's not the one. He wasn't even in the operating room, so he had nothing to do with what another surgeon did. However, he blames him because of him making that diagnosis. So later on, Stanwood would later be found guilty of first-degree murder, and at the age of 79, he is sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole, plus 10 years for using the handgun in the commission of Dr. Gilbert's murder. And this here is the final resting place of Dr. Ronald Gilbert, devoted husband and father, beloved brother and friend, served the community faithfully. I don't believe you can blame another man for a botched surgery. You know, Stanwood Elkis basically killed Dr. Gilbert because he destroyed his sex drive, according to him, even though he had nothing to do with the surgery. And according to one of his relatives, he would not have sex. He didn't want to have sex. It was uncomfortable and it was probably painful. And he took out his frustrations on an innocent man. And he spent the rest of his life in prison. He just died last year in March 2024. So maybe in the future, I'll do a quick video where he's buried at. But, you know, just a crazy nutcase lunatic who thought about it, and he decided that he was going to seek revenge the only way he could. And that was to commit the crime of murder. Okay, guys, I'm out of here. I'm hitting the road. Next stop, who knows? I have no idea where I'm going, but I hope to see you there wherever it is that I go. Live but not live, still alive by the grace of God. The Mind at Large. I'll see you in the next video. Peace out.